Well, hello, 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 hello. It may be morning to some, evening to others, and afternoon to other people. Um, I have been on a journey. This journey has actually been going on for years. Something that just didn't recently happen, something that hasn't happened over the past 4 years, nothing that has happened over the past 7 years. But I have to admit that on this part of the journey, I dropped the ball. I did some things that wasn't wise. I did some things that were gullible. I did some things that were stupid. I've even done some things that some people may never understand, you know, but it's still my journey. It's what I did. Um, the journey actually started for me about 25, 26 years ago, maybe thereabout. I had finally just come off drugs, crack cocaine to be specific. I was coping with having a child that was a crack baby, and thank God that she did not have any side effects. So that was a beautiful thing. I was coping with, here I am with 5 children. What am I about to do? I was depressed. I was suicidal. I was lonely. I was confused. Um, I blamed myself a lot for some of the things that I was experiencing. It was a very confusing time. It was very, very, very confusing. It was confusing because I didn't know where I was going, what I was supposed to have been doing, why I was on this earth. Because my perception up until the experience I'm going to share with you was that my life was meant to be a person who should receive abuse. Because up until that time, that's what my life was. It was just a different forms of abuse, from self-sabotaging to low self-esteem, because that's an abusive behavior toward yourself. Low confidence, an abusive behavior to yourself. Abuse from others, coping with the abuse of my mother, coping with the abuse from being sexually molested from several different people, you know. And I remember the night so specifically. My daughter had to be about 2 weeks old. It was like a few days after Christmas. And I was just, I was gone. I remember drinking me a glass of wine because the kids was bed. And this is the only time I had my, how us adults want our free time. And I was going through my little da da da, and I remember just crying out, just crying. I didn't have no words. There was no words coming out. It was just crying, 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 and then more crying, crying. Then I was crying more and more and more, just crying. It was a type of cry that I haven't had that type of cry since. I've cried before, but never like that cry that day. And I knew it wasn't quite the new year yet, but I know we were very close approaching the uh, the new year. And I was headed on up to bed. I was going to bed because I'm fed up. Mind you, I'm suicidal, I'm depressed, types of stuff, just negative stuff, just anything negative. It was me. And I was going upstairs, and I had this experience with God. And it wasn't the first time I had the experience, but it was the first time I recognized the experience. So that's different. We can have experiences, but sometimes we don't recognize the impact of that experience on our life. And I remember having this experience. It was the first time I saw God for myself. Not the God that my mama told me I was supposed to be serving, not the God that the church told me I was supposed to be serving, not the God that anybody said that I had to do. It was my personal, I always call it an awakening. When I look back on it now, it was my awakening. It was my time to figure out who it is Alice is. And I remember the presence of the Creator was so overwhelming. And we chit chat, like how I'm chit chatting with you, how we're talking, how we're communicating. That's how he and I or she communicated. Because I couldn't tell if it was male or female. I didn't see none of that. So I can't sit here and say it was a him or it was a her. I don't know because that wasn't a distinction in us communicating. We just communicated. And I remember how when we got through communicating, one of the scriptures that came to me that day, and I had to go look it up because I didn't understand it, and it was Psalms 139, verse 13 and 14. And it says, "For you formed my inward parts." When it's talking about you, this is the individual talking to God, talking about you. You formed me, you know, in the inner parts that's inside of me, the stuff that's inside. Not all this. This is just the outward. The most important part is what's inside of you. You covered me in my mother's womb. So the whole time I'm being carried in the womb, the Creator was covering me. I was covered. He formed me. He meticulously, designed this big nose, these massive lips, these high cheekbones, this gap in my teeth that is so sexy. He did that. That's what he did. Then it goes and say, verse 14, me, Alice, will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Fearfully and wonderfully. It's powerful. Fearfully and wonderfully. But this is the part that he keyed in on for me to understand. Marvelous are your work, and that my soul knows very well. So when I was in my mama belly, not only was I fearfully and wonderfully made, I was marvelous part of his work. And that my soul, so before I even came out the womb, came down the birth canal, my soul knew this well. And a lot of times when we have had experiences, especially young in our development, scientists say, or psychologists or behavioralists, people who study the behavior of people, and it's all different forms. Some of them called socialists, sociologists, it's all types of names. They say from 0 to 7, if a child has experienced trauma after trauma after trauma after trauma, it changes who they were when they were originally born. I had so much trauma from the time I was 0 to 12 that, that's a whole nother story. We just talking about the marvelous are your works. We as humans really need to understand that we are a fearfully, wonderful, marvelous piece of work that the Creator God, some call him God, some call him Yeshua, some call him Elohim. He has so many different names. That is not my point to tell you how to define him. My point is to tell you that you are marvelous. It doesn't matter what your past was like. It doesn't matter. It matters in the sense for you to understand why you went through it, but it doesn't matter that you had to go through it, because you going through that, you have to understand you have been marvelous since the creation of time. From the time that your mama carried you in her womb, you are marvelous. When you was experiencing times of loss, guess what? You were still marvelous. Your soul know that. That's how you have been able to endure some things, because deep down in your soul, it knows that you are marvelous. The spirit knows all things. Pneuma, the technical name of spirit, Pneuma. That's another topic though. But your soul been knowing how marvelous you are. And sometimes we don't take the time to really look at ourselves in the mirror. With every heartache we didn't have, with every pain we have had, with everything that we have endured and been through in life, we don't never take the simple time to look at ourselves in the mirror, nude, naked before ourselves, and say, I am marvelous. I am a marvelous exhibit. I am marvelous. God created a piece of work that is so marvelous in the midst of all the mess that you may have experienced up until now. When you allow that to get down, well, it's already in your soul. You just have to begin to believe it. You do. You got to believe, even if you got a potty mouth, you still marvelous. You still got to believe that if you still out here, what some people may consider a bad thing, tricking, hoeing, doing drugs, stealing, robbing, whatever it is that could be your vice, you have to understand you are marvelous, and you cannot continuously to stay that way, because there's something inside of you that is going to get you to understand that you have to come out of that you have to change, that you shall change, that you will change, and change is possible. I'm going through a very huge transition in my life right now. It's not a change, it's a transition. Some people be like, oh, girl, no, you just changed. No, baby, I'm transitioning, and I love it. It is the most beautiful thing I have ever experienced in my life, besides when I had my first true experience with the Creator. Yes. Have I had periods of being scared? Yep, sure have. Fearful? Yep, I was. But you gotta remember, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. So is fear really a bad thing? 'Cause, he just told us you fearfully and wonderfully made. So is fear really bad? You know. Do I have parts of me that's like, oh, Alice, you gonna make a mistake? Guess what? I am gonna make a mistake. I am. Yeah, I am. But guess what? I'm still marvelous. Guess what? You still marvelous. Am I gonna disappoint some people? Guess what? Yep, I am. Yep. But some people be like, oh, she thinks she all that now. She got the big hit. Yep, I do. Because I understand that all this time, from the time I came out my mama's womb, when I was in her womb, I have been marvelous. Period. I really want you to understand, especially in this shift in society, this shift in the world, you're going to really have to tap into what is it that is so marvelous about you. You know what I'm saying? So it's this thing where I'm like, I got a marvelous tribe. It's a whole lot of us out there. Some of us are doctors, some of us are lawyers, some of us are artists, some of us is just your everyday Joe. So you think. But it's a tribe of us out there. And I believe deep down in my heart, we're going to connect so good, and we're going to change the course of people's lives who was headed down a path where they could never understand that they are marvelous. Because anything God do really is marvelous, no matter what it look like, period. You know, anything the Creator do is marvelous. So if you was able to be able to manifest in the flesh, this right here, this, the Creator has allowed you to manifest in the flesh. It's something so great inside of you, something that is so marvelous about you. I need to break down this word marvelous to understand how the English language defines it. Because we're looking at it from God's perspective, and sometimes it's hard for us to grasp the thought and the mind of Christ. So sometimes we have to put words in the modern English to make it understandable. That's why, people had to interpret or transcribe or write out what it is that they was trying to understand when the people in Old Testament or the people in the New Testament was writing down what the Creator was given to them. We have to break it down into the terminology, into the period in time in which we live now. And marvelous as an adjective, adjective describes. That's what an adjective does. It describes. An adjective, in the adjective form, marvelous means causing great wonder, extraordinary. How have you caused great wonder? I cause great wonder because I walk in the room and people be like, girl, something wrong with you. The main thing they mostly say is, girl, you crazy. No, I am. I am. I have learned to carry that with a badge of honor because there's certain things that I do I know can't nobody do. I know they can't. And I ain't even worried. It's certain things that when certain things go in people's lives, they'll be like, Alice, I need you to pray for me because such and such. It's just something about the way you pray that I know it's gonna touch the throne of God. Yeah, that's my gift. I'm marvelous at it. That's who I am. Because I've been trained since I was little. Because of the heartaches and the different things that I've had gone through in life that I did not know that's what the Creator was designing me for. Because it was in me since the beginning of time. And my soul been there, spinning me. You know what I'm saying? Now some synonyms for the word marvelous. Amazing, astounding, astonishing, awesome, breathtaking. This is the one that got me. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's people who look at me that know my past. They even see where I'm at now. They didn't even see me all the way get through my transition. They look at me and be like, it is so unbelievable how you have really succeeded the odds. I know because I'm amazing. I'm marvelous. I get that. But it had to get into me for me to understand that it's been in me and it's been in my soul all this time. And that was according to the Oxford Dictionary, those definitions that I gave you. Now I went on looking some more in the U Dictionary. It says it is a surprising, amazing, or very good person, thing, or event. Okay. When I read that, I'm surprising because I beat the odds. I'm amazing because I'm here today to be able to tell my story. Because some people don't have the ability or their mind never gets clear enough or their hearts never get in the right place for them to be able to tell their story. So anytime somebody is able to tell their story, that is amazing. They have beat the odds. They're doing things that others said they couldn't, or that growing up, there were certain things that have been spoken over their life where they just stopped believing. They stopped believing in the Creator and they stopped believing in themselves. And when you stop believing in both of them, that's dangerous. I thank God for me, even though I was going through all them things in my mind, trying to figure it out. Like, I know it's better for me. I know it's something greater for me. I know. I've been knowing that since I was a little girl, like maybe about 3 or 4 years old. Maybe I think it may have been like 4 or 5 because of an experience I had that I didn't understand until I had the experience with God for myself to really know what that experience was back then. I didn't know. No, but God is still yet good. A thing, that's a noun. My nose is a thing. My ears is a thing. It can still be marvelous because it's a part of you. An event. You are an event. Let me tell you what makes you an event. Don't you got a date of birth that you came and you entered this world? When you came into this world, you had a day and you had a time. That is an event. You can't change that. An event. A time where something spectacular has happened. Like back home where I'm from, they finna have this season of what they call the Black Expo. You know what I'm saying? That's an event. Well, you an event. You was an event the time you finally came out your mama's womb. That day, instantly, right then and there, you became an event. Now, how you want to walk and be an event, that's up to you. How do you want your marvelous to shine? How do you want to display it? You know, I'm learning to display all parts of, my husband jokes with me a lot and say, you have 8 personalities. Guess what? You probably gonna see all 8 of them because I've embraced it. It's okay. Some days I ain't gonna feel like it, but I'm still gonna do it. You know, some days you're gonna probably see a more a bright side of me. Some people be saying it is okay. Some days you might see a angry side of me. Guess what? It's okay. You know, some days you might see a more spiritual side of me, and you might be amazed, like I didn't know that girl knew all that. I'm marvelous. What you thought? That is who I am. I am one of God's marvelous exhibit, and there's many, 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 many more like me out there. And I'm here to tell you there is a place for you. There is a place for you. And I'm here to help encourage you to bring that part of you out, to help you learn how to exhibit it, to learn how to stroke that marvelousness of you, to get it all over this world's canvas because we need it. You know, I love nature. People that are very, very close to me know I love nature. Love it. Nature is one of God's ways for you to look to see how powerful, how He is the greatest architect, and to look and see how your life can flow effortlessly. When I look out and I watch the sunrise, or I watch a sunset, or I watch a tree go from having no leaves to having leaves, it is one of the most beautiful things. One thing I loved about living back in Indiana was the 4 seasons. That shows you so much of God. And even how in our lives, we're going to have times where it's spring. Everything just now sprouting. We starting to plant seeds. I want a house. Well, I'm starting to plant seeds in my savings account. You know. Then you got summer. When you got this sun, it's so bright, it's so beautiful. You know what I'm saying? It's just shining down on everything. It's just letting everything grow, everything moving around, everything just shining bright, waving. It's just a glorious thing. Absolutely powerful, absolutely beautiful. And then you got the fall. Stuff start withering away. Your mood might change. You notice it's starting to get a little chilly, so you got to start putting on your sweaters. You know, some people love that time of year. That's not my favorite time of the year, but I'm learning to embrace it because I'm understanding it's just a season. It ain't finna last always. It's gonna pass, but then here come winter. Mm. I think that may be one of the hardest seasons that is for anybody to deal with because in winter stuff die. Think about a person that you may have lost. Think about a opportunity you may have lost. Think about money you may have lost. Winter is nothing but a season of loss. That's all. And it's saying you're gonna lose it forever. It's just a season of loss. Stuff die. You ain't got the green on the trees no more. The grass is no longer green. You know what I'm saying? You don't see that many animals out. The birds ain't all the way out making their sound, singing to you. Well, they sing to me, but I know they singing to the Creator. But I appreciate them singing to me and blessing me, singing to me. You know, it nature will tell you if you having a problem so hard that you cannot figure it out, get in nature, cause God gonna show you. And He's going to end up showing you how marvelous it is that you are and how you fit in to His wonderful masterpiece. Because just think about it. If you were not who you are, what would this canvas of life look like? Think about the people you may have impacted. Think about the people who may tell you things like, every time I see you, I'm so inspired. Oh, you got a smile that just brightens my day. You always got something kind to say, or real good if you're a person who what they call them maybe churchgoers or people who go to church or go to places where the body of Christ get to come together. It's always that mother or that sister in the church that every time you see him, you be so glad to see him. You could have a down day, or it could even be a brother. It ain't necessarily got to be a sister. It could be a brother. You know, you know if you can get to the church, or if you can get around your people who got faith, who believe. You know, you get around them, you see that one person, because you know every time you see them, they gonna have a word for you, and it could be as simple as, "Come on, sister, put the head up, put them shoulders up. Come on, let's go. We got this." They're marvelous because they are painting this canvas of life with the beauty of who they are. And then what has happened is, because they have said those words or did an action or words to help you, guess what happened now? Now you're no longer in the spot or the frame of mind that you were in at that time. So guess what happened? Now you didn't spunked up. You like, oh, come on now, we got this. Let's do. Oh shoot, we got this. Let's go. We finna do this. So guess now what you finna do? Now you didn't activate the marvelous in you because it's in your soul. It's been there since the beginning of time, since you didn't came out your mama's womb. Now guess what you about to go do? Sister, you can't be doing that. Come on, we got this. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's get this. You know, my things I ask people in the minute, you need a hug? Do you need a hug? I'm a good hugger because I know what it feels like to have a horrible hug. I know what it feels like to have a hug that's not genuine. I know what them feel like. So I ask you, hey, you need a hug? And I'm going to hug you so tight. I've had people tell me, when you give a hug, I just feel all the weights of the world just fall off of me. That's good. That's what we need, because that's my marvelousness. It's been in me. It's been in my soul. I just want to encourage someone. I hope this was informative. I hope they understand me a little bit more. You know, this sister then came a long way. I still have a ways to go, because you know it's this scripture in the Word of God. It's a New Testament scripture. I'm not real good at remembering where they at due to a head injury, but I know my word. I know it. And it talks about old things are passed away, and behold, all things become new. That old man dying, my old perception of myself is gone. And this new perception of myself, I love it. Every inch of me is marvelous. It ain't necessarily mean that it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody gonna like it. And I am so at peace with that. A lot of people not gonna understand it, but guess what? I'm so at peace at that. It's even the creator has even let me understand it's gonna be some people who gonna think they're gonna be able to talk to me any old kind of way, because back then I wouldn't allow it. It's not gonna happen because I really understand me. And I understand and I appreciate everything that I have gone through to get to where I'm at today, July the 14th, 2022. When people say it's a song that I used to love to hear. You don't know my story, all the things that I've been through. Don't nobody really know my story because I ain't told it. I'm ready to tell it. I'm ready. It's time, and it's okay. It is, I've accepted that some people were like, that ain't believable. Oh, baby, yes, it is. Parts of my story, I have witnesses who could tell you she ain't lying. Because some people who have been on this journey with me for 30 years, so they have seen the different levels of me. It's some that has been on this journey with me for 15 years. And I don't mean by being on this journey with me, talking about, oh, yeah, I know Alice. No, I'm talking about they didn't been in that gutter with me, baby. They've been in the trenches. As they can. You know how they say we get it out the mud? It's some people who've been in the mud with me. They've been in that dark place with me. The dark place. They've been there. So they know. They know what it is. Hey, Sherby, thank God that this is encouraging you. Blessing, sister. Blessing. Blessings, blessings. I just want to be an encouragement to those that I can be, those who will allow me to be. As always, we are on Instagram under I too am marvelous. You could please follow and like our page on Facebook under Marvelous Exhibit. We will be so happy to have you. We're starting up our YouTube page, so it'd be nice if you can go over there and subscribe. I'm working with this coach, and baby, let me tell you something. These coaches know how to push you. They know the right words. All my life I kept saying I need a mentor. I need a mentor. I've been saying this now for maybe about 20 years. I have had many successes in life. It's not taken away from the successes I have obtained in life. But when you see yourself within yourself going to a certain level or a different level or a new dimension or a different place in your life, you're going to need a mentor. It's just life. It's just what it is. It's just, you might have like my coach said, some people got to start off with a YouTube mentor. Some people got to start off with a Facebook mentor. Some people start off with an Instagram mentor. Don't make it right, don't make it wrong. You have to start somewhere. It's just how it is. You need somebody who's going to help challenge you and get you out your comfort zone and force you to do something. It ain't that they're forcing you. That's not the proper word I should use. But they just have a way to challenge you, to make you be like, let me think about that. I really need to think on that. And then after you think about it, you need to take an action. Now what am I going to do? Now what am I finna do? What am I finna do now? An example I can give you. When I was on this journey, when I was coping with the addiction part of my journey, I had to make an action. And the action that I chose was to separate from the environment of where I was doing the drugs. I had to disconnect from friends. I had to take an action. A lot of those people we are friends now, before a while, they didn't see me. Why? Because I had to take an action so that I can be free. I had to read a lot of, I had to search why I was doing the drugs. I had to be so honest with myself. I had to dig real deep within me. Why did I start doing drugs? What made me start doing drugs? And I can't say it was because somebody gave it to me. No, I'm a grown woman. I was going to say grown ass woman. That's what I really wanted to say. I'm a grown ass woman. They had nothing to do with that. That was my choice. It was a choice I made. I made the choice to be like, oh, let me try that. Anybody could offer you anything, but it was my choice. So I had to take an action to figure out how is it and what am I about to do so that I will not continue to do drugs. What action can I take so I will not find myself back in this addictive behavior? What action am I going to take? What are you about to do? What you about to do, Alice? I had to be so raw with myself. I had to get so deep down inside of my insides because my soul was already knowing I'm marvelous. Because when the Creator designed me, He already said I'm fearfully and wonderful and made. And I've been like this since I've been in the womb of my mama. But they say when you got one finger pointing at somebody else, you got three more pointing at you because this ain't a finger, that's a thumb. This is the digit. We got 5 digits, 4 of them are fingers. So if you point one at somebody, you got 3 pointing at you. So while I was steady doing this to everybody else, I had to look at them 3 at me. So that means I had to dig deep inside of me. Alice, why you start doing these drugs? I had to write a list why I started doing drugs. What was I thought was the pros and what was the con. And that con list was so much longer than that pro. Because only pro in it was, I was numb for the time I was doing drugs. Doing them drugs to help me process what I needed to process. It didn't take away the pain. It didn't take it away. It didn't allow me to think properly because now I would get in this world that wasn't even no type of reality. It wasn't no reality. It would cause me to do even more dumb stuff that wasn't even necessary, that wasn't even making the situation better. It didn't do nothing but cause me to have more problems. Because now I done out here and did some stupid stuff. I took my bank account and got it in the negative because I want to go get high. It didn't help. But I had to make a decision and take an action. That when I said I'm done with this because my action had begun to affect another human being in the womb, even though she was still yet wonderfully designed, fearfully and wonderfully made, and she was marvelous, is his work, because her soul knew this. And what amazes me about that child is that when she was able to start talking and communicate with me, one of the first things I remember her telling me when we began to be able to have, sit down talk, she was very advanced for her age. For her to be in what they labeled as a crack baby, her way of thinking, her thought process, how she handles stuff at a very young age was way, even to this day, she's still the same way. Still the same. She said, Mommy, you know why God made me? I said, why, baby? Why did God make you? Oh, he wanted you to know what love was all about, Mommy. What? Look, girl, what you just say? And she never lied. Because she helped me learn love for myself and love for my children.